Everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about where to book what when it comes to booking your travel. So depending on if you are doing an entire package, say it's airfare, hotel, and everything, whether you're doing a cruise or you just need a hotel or just airfare or just a car, each of those different things has a different ideal place to book it. It has a different place that is the best place to book it based on what it is that you need. And so today I want to tell you, for all the different types of travel, where the best place to book it is. I think you know what I mean. So let's go ahead and jump in. All right, the first one I want to talk about is cruises. Now, cruises, you can always just go to the cruise line and book it online. But I want to tell you a little secret about booking cruises. If you go through a travel agent, and that includes if you go through Amex Travel or Costco Travel or AAA Travel, that includes those. And particularly if your travel agent, if you find one that belongs to a large consortium or a large travel agency, what happens is those big travel agencies, or even if they're an independent, they just work from home, but independent, but they're related to one of those large agencies, a lot of times for cruises, they have extras that they can offer for you. So it could be extra room credit that you can use towards shore excursions or food or spa. It could be things such as a bottle of champagne in your room when you arrive. It could be upgrades. There's a lot of different extras that the larger agencies can offer to you. For instance, we're going on a Mediterranean cruise this summer, in fact, in a few weeks. And I booked it through American Express, their travel agency. A, so I could use some points, but B, because they were offering an extra almost $500 in room credit, plus an additional bottle of wine or champagne in your room. And I think at the time it was also some upgrades. So that's why I specifically went through them. And what you'll find is a lot of those big travel agencies offer those type of extras often. And so if you are booking a cruise this year, be sure to check just at least check to see if any of those big agencies are offering some extras that might make it worth it to go through them versus booking it yourself directly through the cruise line. And a quick caveat on that, if you're not sure where to find a travel agency, if you don't have Amex, Costco, or AAA, then I would look at a big consortium. If you simply Google the travel consortiums such as Virtuoso, Travel Leaders Network, Signature Travel Network, Nest, these are large consortiums that have travel agencies that all join it. And by all joining it together, they have better negotiation power, better buying power. So oftentimes those big, any agency that belongs to that consortium has the ability to get more perks from the cruise lines, also for hotels and such as well, which I'll talk about in a minute. But they have the ability to get extras, extra little features, amenities, different things by being a part of that larger purchasing power, that larger negotiating power. So you can Google, like I said, Virtuoso, Signature, Nest, Travel Leaders, and they oftentimes have a link where you can find travel agents near you, and they also have reviews. So if you're looking for an individual travel agent, you don't want to go through Amex and AAA and all those people, Google those, and you should be able to find a travel agent near you that has good ratings, and then go through them to see what they might be able to offer you. All right, next I want to talk about hotels. So if you're going and you only need a hotel, then you always have the ability to book those yourself. Now, if it's something pretty quick and easy and simple, if you're looking for a budget to mid-range hotel, oftentimes you can find everything you need by going through Google Hotels. And I did make a video about that, which I will link either above or below, that talks about how to use Google Hotels. But the reason I choose that is because they don't actually sell the hotel rooms for you or to you. They actually go and find all of the rates for a specific hotel and bring it all to you. So if you're looking, say, at the Marriott in Sacramento, I don't know, it will say for the Marriott in Sacramento, this is all of the prices available, and it will include things like booking.com and Expedia and all of the different places, including the hotel itself. So on one easy page, you'll be able to see exactly what your rate options are, and then simply go to that particular website and book it. One little tip about that, be sure to book it with a reputable company you've heard of. Usually the smaller, lesser known companies, while they could be real, they have more risk for being a scam or simply not being there if you need them. If you need to cancel, if you need to get a refund, sometimes those smaller companies tend to disappear when you need them. And so you definitely want to try to book with one of the more reputable companies that you know will be there in case you need to do anything, like I said, like cancel, make changes, things like that. And always when you're booking a hotel in that regard, always check with the hotel directly. There are many hotels nowadays that offer their best rate guarantees when you book through their website. Reason being, they don't want to pay commissions to the booking.coms and Expedias and people like that. And so they try to entice people to book directly through their website and give you sometimes a little bit of a deal. But Google Hotels will have a list of all of the different prices so that you can compare and contrast and go to the place that will work best for you. And I'll link Google Hotels below, or you just simply Google Hotels. Now, if you are booking something mid to a little bit more luxury, or if it's a hotel you're going on a big vacation, lifetime, bucket list type of vacation, a honeymoon, something like that, and you want to see if that hotel that you want to go to has maybe some kind of extra amenities or extra offers that they have available. That is where going to one of the big travel agencies, like I said before, Amex, AAA, Costco, or a travel agency that is affiliated with one of those big consortiums might pay off, because oftentimes those a little bit nicer hotels, kind of mid to luxury, will offer extra perks, upgrades, extra room credits, extra amenities in your room if you go through those large travel agencies and those large consortiums, because again, they have better negotiating power, better buying power. And so hotels often give them extra perks in order to book with their hotel. So if you are going to something big, something that you do want to see if you can maybe get a little more out of it, be sure to check with one of the big travel agencies, or find a travel agent that you love that it belongs to one of those consortiums, and then just use them for that. All right, the next one I want to cover is airfare. Now, airfare used to be something that travel agents could help you with. And although they still can, they don't get any perks really for travel. The only time a travel agent can really make a difference potentially is if you are booking international travel or if you're booking a package. Sometimes they can find better rates that you wouldn't be able to find on your own by just searching on your own. So if you are doing one of those things, it may behoove you to check with a travel agent, and absolutely you can. It wouldn't hurt to just price check with them and just see what they're finding and compare it to what you're finding. That would be for international, or if it's, like I said, a package, something like that. The most of the time, if you're booking something domestic, it's usually just best to go to Google Flights, which again is like Google Hotels in that it'll give you all of the price options. So if you're flying from LA to New York, it'll tell you exactly which airlines are going and what your price options are. And then it will let you go to that place to book, whether that is the airline directly, or it's Expedia, or it's, any of those other places. It will tell you what the prices are and give you the link so you can go book it at that location or at that website. Again, with flights, make sure it's a reputable company, because the last thing you want to do is need a cancellation, a refund, something, and it's a little rinky-dink company and they disappear on you and don't help you at all. When possible, if the price is similar to the other prices you're finding, or better, or not too much more expensive, I always recommend booking directly through the airline, simply because when something happens, you're going straight to the horse's mouth. You're not having to wait on, say, an Expedia to then negotiate with American Airlines in order to get your refund, or whatever airline you're using. You can go straight to the airline and get your refund, your change, whatever you need. And it is just a much quicker and a much more secure process of having things taken care of for you. Expedia could do it, and some of those other booking engines can do it. But a lot of times, by being the middleman, it adds extra delays. Sometimes they don't respond. Sometimes they can't do what you're wanting to do, whereas the airline directly will allow you to do what you want to do. So just keep that in mind when you're booking flights. One more note about flights. If you are taking a cruise and needing to get a flight to your cruise where it departs, Another place to check is through your cruise line directly. A lot of cruise lines have an air department where they offer airfare in addition to your cruise. And a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, sometimes they can beat the pricing that you're finding by either going through a travel agent or going through yourself, looking on Google Flights, for instance. And as an example, I mentioned I'm going on a Mediterranean cruise, and I was looking for flights myself all over the place, and we're leaving out of Rome, so I needed to go internationally. I was finding basic economy flights for around $1,100-$1,200. This was 6 months ago. They're even more now, I think. And I just was not finding the right combination of what I wanted. So on a whim, I'm like, you know what? I'll just check with the cruise department, their airline department, and see if they're having any better solutions for me. And lo and behold, they actually were offering economy flights for $9.99. Now I know that sounds expensive, but in relation to what I was finding it for, that was actually on the cheap side. It was, $200-$300 cheaper than what I was finding everywhere else. They also had really great prices on business airfare. And I was able to actually upgrade some of us, there's 6 of us going, some of us were able to afford to upgrade to business class, which is going to make flying to Europe a whole lot more comfortable. But that airline department gave me much better pricing than what I was finding on my own by looking at Google Flights and all of those places in the airlines directly. So it's always worth taking a look because you never know when they might be able to beat what it is you're finding elsewhere. All right, next I want to talk about packages. Now, a package would be anything that's you're combining. So you're getting a hotel and a flight, or a hotel, flight, and a rental car, or something along those lines. Those type of things you can book, say on Expedia, Travelocity, places like that. But again, they're just going to give you the basic access to those things. And sometimes that's well and good, and it might be perfect for your needs, and it might be the price that is good for you. However, if you are booking a package, I would recommend at least checking with a travel agent, just to be sure that they can either A, do better, or make better recommendations on how to combine those things in order to have a better experience. Not only do they have the expertise as far as the place you're going, your destination, to be able to know this hotel's good, this hotel's terrible. And even though on Expedia you can read the reviews, sometimes you don't really know if you haven't been there. And a lot of times the travel agencies have been there and experienced them and can guide you based on the experience that you want to have. But in addition to that, the travel agents sometimes, again, have those extra perks that they can offer to you. By being a part of a large agency or consortium, sometimes those package companies will give them extra things that they can pass on to you. Amenities, upgrades, credit towards room credits and things of that nature. So always, if you're doing a package, be sure to double check with a travel agent. Even if you ultimately decide not to go with them, just see what they can offer and what they can bring to the table. It might be far better than what you're finding by looking yourself individually. All right, next is honeymoons and weddings. Now, because of the complexity of those and all of the different little pieces that all have to go together, I highly recommend using a travel agent for those. And not just any travel agent, I recommend using somebody who is specialized in weddings and honeymoons for your travel needs. And that is because they are experts at all of those little pieces. You have to have so many little pieces come together to make it perfect. It's better to use a professional in those situations to make sure you're going to have the experience that you want to have. And by using an expert who's done many weddings and honeymoons in the past, they can help guide you, use their expertise to help you experience what you want to experience. They have access to the travel partners that can give you extra perks, extra amenities. It is just better when you're talking about something that's such a big, important travel experience in your life, or a big experience in your life. Is just far better to go with an expert in that regard to make sure everything goes smoothly. So I highly recommend using a travel agent, especially one that has the expertise, but also belongs to one of those bigger consortiums or bigger groups, so they can have access to those extra perks to make your special day even more special. All right, next I want to talk about car rentals. Now, You may or may not know there are new car rental options. You always have your Hertz and Enterprise and people like that you can rent from. And if you're flying into an airport, they're usually right there near or close to the airport or part of the airport. So it makes it easy to rent them. But lately, a lot of those places are overpriced because of inflation, because of travel demand. They're overpriced right now, but also they run out of cars and just some different things can happen, but it's still an option. And to decide where to book that, you simply could go to the Hertz, the Enterprise, the whomever you happen to have a relationship with or whoever you prefer, budget and so forth, and just book it directly on their website. That is one option. There's a new option that you may not have heard of. It's called Turo, T-U-R-O, and it is like an Airbnb, but for cars. So personal owners of cars put their car available up on Turo, and then you can rent that car from them. And the way it works is you can go through and pick, there's all different types of cars. Usually I find some crazy luxury cars, electric cars, cheaper cars, budget cars. There's all different kinds, even some classic cars. And they're available in all different locations, but a lot of them will have a delivery. So say there's a car available that you really want to get, and it's not near the airport. Maybe it's on the other side. If you're going to Hawaii, say it's on the other side of the island. Usually you can see in the Turo listing that they will deliver it to the airport for you, and it might be an extra surcharge. So this is another alternative to booking cars, to get either a specialized kind of cool car, to be able to find something more availability, maybe something closer, or maybe something in a certain location, or you want it delivered to you, maybe at your hotel or someplace else. And just more options. It's the same thing as going to an Airbnb versus a hotel. It's just a different type of rental, a different type of options that are available. But like Airbnb, they have extra service fees and stuff. So even though it says it's maybe $50 a day for this car, be sure to take it all the way through to the end where you actually would pay for it, so you can see what extra fees and stuff are included, including they offer extra insurance if you choose to take it. They sometimes will offer gas, so you don't have to fill it up before you return it, things like that. So be sure to carry it all the way out to the full conclusion so you know what the real price is, because it's very rarely the actual price that is listed on the main screen in the main listings. So those are two options for rental cars, but I want to take it one step further and consider, can you do without a car altogether? Because usually an extra car means parking fees at your hotel. If you're staying in a big city, it means parking fees or finding parking in the big city, which could be a nightmare. If you're internationally, it's dealing with international driver's license. It's dealing with different driving laws that you're not familiar with. And so I want to encourage you, if you can go and not get a car, that might be a better option for some people. Sometimes you just need a car, and that is totally fine. But consider your options for public transportation, Ubers, taxis, walking, if you can stay close enough where you can walk, and maybe forego getting a car and having that extra expense and the headache of where you're going to park it, and just go for the public option, walking option, or those type of things. All right, the next one is excursions and activities. Now, this one is far more free-flowing because there could be a million different places you could book your excursions and activities depending on where you're going. So for instance, we're going to Rome. If I wanted to book a Colosseum ticket, for instance, I could go to the Colosseum website and pay for tickets there. I could go to a third-party excursion website such as Viator and book it there. I could go to Airbnb Experiences, and lo and behold, somebody is going to be offering a tour of the Colosseum on Airbnb Experiences. So you have far more choices. This one's a little harder to help guide you, but I did make a video about that, which I'll link above or below, that tells you how to decide what you should do on your vacation, because it can be really overwhelming knowing what to do and trying to narrow it down and pick it, but also where to go to book them. And some of my favorite places to book them are Airbnb Experiences. That one's always great because they're small groups and they have all different kinds of experiences, and they're usually a much more personal experience, and it's a lot of fun, and it's usually pretty cost effective. Also Eat With which is similar, but it's all based around eating and food. So it could be the owner of a restaurant offering a special tasting at their restaurant, or you go to someone's home and have a meal with them at their home. This one's a great option, especially if you're going internationally, so you can experience the culture, the language, and the real authentic food. The other one is Viator. Now, this is an excursion or an activity booking website that is through TripAdvisor. And so you have the ratings from TripAdvisor, and you have all different kinds of excursions all over the world. Not only that, but there's also good transportation options. So if you need a shuttle from the airport to your hotel or vice versa, or to a cruise, the port, they also have transportation options as well, private tours, public tours, all different kinds of things. So those are just a few of the ones that are my favorites and my go-tos when I'm planning a vacation. But again, take a look at that video, and I have a few more if you'd like to look at those and decide if any of those work for you as well. And if you are planning a vacation this year, this video will help you to know exactly what to do and how to do it, so that you get the best prices and have the best experience you possibly can. And other than that, I want to thank you so much for stopping by, and have a great vacation this year. Take care. Bye-bye.